Welcome in for another edition of On the Tee. I'm Anita Marks, and we've got a jam-packed house for you tonight and a lot to get to. Obviously, a lot of Phil Mickelson talk, and we'll look forward to the Charles Schwab. But first and foremost, let's bring in my partners in crime. That's what I like to call them. First and foremost, John Mascari joins us with a very special guest. Scott Monroe is here. Yes. You know what? I'm going to let you, he's your friend. He's, I don't know, you guys probably pillow fight tonight. I know he's staying over on his way to Nantucket. Yeah, there you go. Why don't you introduce your friend? Tell us all about Scott and why he's on the show tonight.
This is Scott Monroe. He's one of the best golf instructors on the planet. He's passing on up through New Jersey, heading up to Nantucket. So he'd stop by. We played some golf today. We're going to play golf again tomorrow at Alpine. I don't know if you've ever played there before, Anita, but it's a great place. Mm-hmm. And he's working on my golf swing. So I'm going to be hitting it even further past you now.
Phil Mania.
And we're just hanging out, and we're going to have some fun talking about Phil because, we're both Callaway guys. So we got our Callaway hats. We got our sunglasses. We got our thumbs up. Let's go.
Wow. I need Christina Thompson for golf from her. She needs to get in on this. I mean,
what is happening right now? Wait, what is this?
What is this right now?
What is this? What is this?
I love it. Look at these guys.
They're just too cool.
Bombs and hellacious seeds.
Oh my
God.
Like
Phil.
was not prepared for this today.
I love it.
Phil Mania.
It is Phil Mania. Give me some of that coffee or whatever he's taking.
You mean this?
Look at you. We
are all in, man. We haven't slept in like 36 hours. We've been on this stuff. It's unbelievable. We're going to do grunt work in the bathroom later.
I actually ordered some the other day.
I love it. All right, we're going to get into all of that. As always, keep in mind, you've got questions, you've got comments, post them on the message board. Brett, who's behind the glass, will join us at the end of the show, and he will bring them. And he will bring your questions our way. We'll answer as many as we can before we sign off later on. As always, we start the show with our show drink, and our show drink represents the area, the town, the city that this next tournament is taking place in. And since it is in Texas, the Colonial, what do you got for us this week? Our mixologist, Christina Thompson.
Yeah, I mean, if they keep going back to Texas, I'm gonna run out of drinks. So this one should have been probably the first one, but it's the Texan frozen margarita. And through my research of trying to find a new drink from Texas, did you know this little fun fact that the frozen margarita was invented in Dallas, Texas? I didn't know that. I thought this was like a Mexican resort.
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
Right. It was actually, wait, this guy, I gotta tell you this really fun fact though. It was the guy who, he had like some like hacienda in Texas, and his margaritas just for whatever reason weren't lasting. So anyway, he walked into a 7-Eleven store, saw a Slurpee machine, and said, oh my gosh, this is a great idea. So he took a Slurpee machine and an ice cream machine and like made some like hybrid machine, and voila, we have our frozen margarita machine, which is in the Smithsonian. So I don't know. I think it's a pretty fun fact. I got my margarita all ready to drink. It's actually a quarter of the way done. I've been waiting, patiently waiting to get on.
I'm sorry. I had daily wager tonight.
Very good.
And I was on till the last minute. So that is our show drink. And let's toast. Let's toast to Phil. Let's toast to Phil Mickelson. Yes.
To be 50.
Here's to you, my friend.
Cheers.
So this year, Phil, he's won now on the PGA Tour. He lost weight. He sold some coffee. He partnered up with Tom Brady. Don't forget, back for the match too, the Champions for Charity. But I mean, guys, it really, really was unbelievable watching this, especially down the stretch, because it did get a little dicey with Louis O on his coattails. And I think if Brooks Koepka could have made different shot selections, I think maybe he could have contended and contested a little bit as well. I love the story. Did you guys hear the story where Phil's mom was texting, and I hope I'm getting this right. Phil's mom was texting his wife saying, tell him just to par. Tell him not to try to go for the birdie. Just keep I think his wife was texting back to the mom saying, text Tim, who was his brother, who was his caddy. He's like, Tim's the only one he's listening to this week. So, so sure enough, but John and Scott, let's start with you. John was, by the way, Christina, I mean, we were all, you, me, and John, we were texting one another, the back nine, and there were a few frightening moments where we were all cheering for Phil and he went into the drink and whatnot. But man, what a great Sunday afternoon it was. So John and Scott, let's start with you. Your thoughts on Phil's win.
Yeah, we were texting back and forth, Anita, and I don't think I sat down for the back nine at all. I was pacing around the basement. I was cheering and hand clapping and screaming at the television. What are you doing? When he hits the ball, it was just a roller coaster of emotions for me. But yeah, what a great tournament. I was surprised with Brooks Koepka. I thought he would have brought a bigger game, especially on the par fives. I mean, to come out of the gate, make birdie, and then make a 7 on the second hole, and you look at that was supposed to be his advantage, is really reaching those par fives, especially into the wind. And a 71 from Brooks would have done it, but it came out to 74. But kudos to Phil for keeping it together. I know for him it was about focusing. And Scott, maybe you could talk a little bit about that, about how it gets a little tougher, I guess, as you get older to focus, and especially in a situation like that.
Well, I was telling John earlier too. He was in Nantucket a couple years ago, and I got to follow him for 9 holes. He's playing with the members. They're all talking trash, and I'm overhearing these conversations. He's talking about my body's going to change in the next 2 years. So he had started this journey a couple years ago. And the trainer he's with said it's going to take you 2 years to get your body where you want it. And just to see that, it's totally different. You get your body right like that. And Brooks was probably looking at him going like a lot of other guys and said, whoa, check this guy out. What happened to him? And that might have had something to do with it.
I mean, long, like crazy long off the
He's
team.
never been short, but.
But I mean, 360, 365 for Phil, under the gun. It was just an impressive feat.
But I do want to touch on this, and Christina, I want to come to you as well. And I know what you're saying. I mean, listen, this course was 700-800 yards. He needed to be long off the tee, but I thought it was interesting in all his post-round interviews, his post-win interviews. He talked about his mental aspect and his focus, and how and how he's lost focus, and how he feels that was really the one thing that definitely was the biggest difference. Granted, I know he said that he's changed his eating habits and he's lost a lot of weight and all that, and having to learn how to eat differently and be healthier. But just the mental aspect of it all, and being able to focus, and him talking about that. Christina?
Well, yeah, I mean, he has in so many occasions over the last few months even have mentioned, he's starting to realize like what's changing in his game, and if he's ever going to be, win a tournament again. And that, like you all know, I mean, he's been playing on the Champions Tour for a while now. And in those interviews, the post-round interviews, he kept saying he's trying to be in the moment. Like he said that every single day. And he seemed very calm while he was even out on the course. I mean, it was fun to actually watch him pick up his rangefinder, and, he looked just calm with it. He was looking at the yardage. I mean, he looked like he was genuinely practicing what he was practicing, or he's executing what he was practicing. I mean, preaching. Thank you.
Right.
Thank you. He was preaching when he was practicing. And if you watch, practicing what he preached.
Practice what you preach.
How many
Jesus Christ
margaritas have you had, woman?
Blame it
My
on
husband's
alcohol.
My husband's listening to this going, this girl is an idiot. Why?
He's gonna practice.
But you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. But I mean, he had, he was just in the moment. It was great to watch that. And I think a lot of people walked away looking at him very inspired by him, and it showed that. I mean, it was fascinating. I mean, I'm convinced that Tiger was watching this thinking, fuck, now I got to get back out there. This guy had to come back. Now I'm getting back out there. So don't be surprised if Tiger comes back a little faster than we originally planned because he wants to come back now.
Tiger did go to social media to congratulate Phil. And one thing I thought about was like, we really haven't heard anything about Tiger in the last few weeks. You know,
he'll be back.
Have you guys heard anything?
He was also seen on social media. He was on crutches. He took the boot off, so he had some tennis shoes on. He actually took the walking boot off, so he was. I think I saw it somewhere yesterday.
Yeah.
Are you hearing anything in regard to his progress and his rehab, or because I'm hearing nothing? Like there's nothing that's out there about it.
Are we really talking about Tiger Woods right now?
I'm just.
We talking about? We're not here talking about Tiger.
We're going from Tiger Mania to Phil Mania.
All right.
So we're gonna get into the Colonial and what those odds could be or are, I should say, for Phil heading into this next turn. Are you guys surprised that he's heading straight to Colonial to play this next on Thursday?
He's a streak player, and when you're on a streak, you got to roll it. You got to ride it. Plus, I wouldn't bet against him in the U.S. Open.
Well, you're jumping way ahead. We're not that.
This is why we can't have nice
rookie.
Yeah. You're not welcome back to the show. You're not, I'm kidding. All right. Some other players I want to talk about. Did we just take?
Denied.
There we go. Some other guys I want to talk about. You mentioned Brooks Koepka. Not a good look for Brooks Koepka this week. Let's be honest, okay? And beyond just, again, I think really shitty shot selection in that final round, but nonetheless, a few things. Number one, coming out and poo-pooing. I mean, what happened on 17 with, I don't know about you guys, I was crying. Like I was here watching. I'm a sucker anyway. I was here watching and like that crowd engulfed, like trying to like get as close to Phil as possible and kind of create this surrounding with that approach shot onto the green and the electricity and the excitement and the energy. I was crying. I was crying watching. I was so excited. And then Brooks has to come out and poo-poo it. Like, I've got a bad knee. Like they shouldn't have been touching me. They shouldn't have been touching my caddy. You know what? Just shut up. It wasn't about your moment. It wasn't about your moment. And it was a special moment. It kind of, let's be honest, it reminded me the same, like what happened, remember with Tiger at the Masters and you had like the entire gallery that was just like following him down 18. That's what it was like. It was a special moment. Brooks didn't have to poo-poo it, jerk. And then Brett, did we get the clip? Are we able to use the clip or can we not use the clip?
We can't use the clip because the powers that be at the PGA immediately struck it down when I tried to get around their copyright rule because, they're selfish, they're greedy, they make too much money. These PGA pros, even the ones at the country clubs, are just overpaid, overpriced. Their golf lessons aren't even that good. Anyway, we couldn't get the clip. We couldn't get the clip, and somehow this is John's fault. So sorry about that.
Do you guys let's go to John and Scott. Do you guys want to reenact?
I'll be kept. I'll be
You want to
Bryson?
Reenact? Yeah. All right. So it's playing the role of
I am now Bryson Shambo.
Let's go to them. Oh my God.
Look how white your arms are. You can't be off camera, dude. Where are you going? You gotta be on. You gotta do it sitting.
Brett, I'm gonna walk by you.
But you gotta sit down. All right. So I'll be Bruce.
Wait, there we go. Okay, here you go.
Okay.
All right, guys, reenact.
Yeah, the shots are out there. I just couldn't. I fucking lost my train of thought. This fucking bullshit. What the fuck?
Well, that's
crunch.
And scene.
Okay. Well, a few things. No. Are you guys drinking margaritas too? Why?
No, we're drinking. We're having Phil. We're having Phil coffee.
We don't have a drinking problem at all.
Okay, a few things. Because I'm curious. Because there's some. The speculation out there is Bryson was talking about having difficulty putting in the wind. That's what his comment was. And then there was some speculation that when Bryson walked by, he said something like, you should be aiming for the right line.
Yeah, like if you started online, it's easy.
If you started online, and then there's some speculation out there that Bryson wears metal cleats, and it was the click, 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 click,
Right.
click, click. So
here comes this asshole now. Jeez.
Was it the comment? Was it the metal cleats? What, I mean, Christina, what are you hearing?
So when I watched that video for the bazillionth time today,
right.
for the bazillionth time, first it looks like Koepka sees Bryson over the right side in front of him because he's already like staring, rolling his eyes,
at him. Yep.
And he hears him.
And he hears him talking, and I think then he sees him approaching, rambling some nonsense, and then you hear the crunching of like the shells in the background, and he just walks behind him. And for anybody, that would be distracting, but he already has that disdain for him, and I love it. Oh, I love something about it I just love. But anyway, yeah, I think that's what it was. I don't think he said anything. I think he wouldn't be that much of a douche to say something. I really want to believe that.
I think he's that much of a douche.
I think he's that.
Just like what you guys were talking about, the whole aura, starting off, someone bumped my knee. And I'm thinking, I was driving up here from Florida and I'm listening to this on XM radio. I'm going, someone bumped your knee? I mean, he was a part of one of the biggest, coolest things ever. With a crowd like that, it hasn't happened since the British Open.
Exactly.
And
he should have been there anyway.
To disrespect Phil and like, oh, you mean we're not talking about you right now? We're talking about somebody else, and they bumped your knee. Oh, that's a bad look.
Here's another thing, and I was watching the end of the show with Jen, and she even pointed out. She said everybody's like Ricky Fowler's there. All Rahm gave him a big hug. Like all these guys are like hugging him. Brooks did not congratulate him. He did not shake his hand. There was no like. And then when they went in depth in regard to like signing the scorecard, and it was just really cold and like
robotic.
Did you see that tweet about signing the scorecard? You know the background, like behind that story, that Koepka waited in the parking lot for Phil after a tournament once when he was a kid. And he wouldn't give him an autograph.
I think really? I did hear that.
And then someone tweeted out, "Here's the autograph for you, kid." And it was Phil signing the scorecard and giving it to him.
Oh,
After all these years, you finally got your autograph. I thought that was fantastic.
Well, that explains it. Now that explains everything.
That explains everything.
But I mean, like Koepka's just like starting fights with everybody.
Can we get some counseling on that one? Go back to this, lay on the couch.
Unbelievable. All right, some other news as well. Guys, is Ricky Fowler back? I mean, listen, he got an exemption. He got an exemption.
I knew you were going to bring him up. I just knew it. I had the music fucking queued up because knowing that you're going to bring up Ricky Fowler. She's in love with Ricky Fowler.
I am.
He made like a first top 10 in
he's not cute. He's too skinny and he's got a unibrow. I don't know. And he's got a porn stash right now. So I don't know. I don't get it.
It's that California dreaming.
Maybe like dirt bikes.
Maybe that's it. Anyway, do you guys feel that Ricky's back based on what you saw this weekend? You do, Scott?
All it takes is 1 week, and the way that pro golf works is having 4 days like that, and he'll tell himself, "Hey, I'm back." And it's funny, golf's funny like that. All of a sudden, you'll do something like that. And I think really hanging out with Tiger probably helped him too. That he was at Tiger's house, I think, watching the Masters, wasn't he?
Yeah.
So he's hanging out with Tiger and Jupiter Island, and it's just the whole. Who knows what they talked about, but yeah, I definitely think he's back.
Well, he lived down on 18 to get into the Masters, right? You knew that,
right?
Well, I thought he got into the Masters
no,
exemption with that.
He lived down on 18,
otherwise
otherwise he would have gotten in.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah,
right.
Unfortunate.
Dustin Johnson doesn't. Oh, are you crying alligator tears for Ricky right there? Is that what you're doing, John?
Yes, I am.
That's really nice. Dustin Johnson.
Chris, what a great comment.
He wants to be a super trooper. Dustin Johnson doesn't make the cut again. I'm telling you guys aren't listening to me. I've been telling you for weeks now. Something's up. I don't. What isn't he planning? Aren't they planning a wedding? Him and Gretzky.
I don't know.
Are they planning?
How are his putting stats?
I don't know. I don't have them in front of me, but
because usually usually with him, he's a real streak putter, and sometimes, because he hits the ball so well, even when he hits it bad, he hits it well. Usually his putting, I always go right with that with him. It's a putting thing.
You think it's his putting?
I don't know. I don't have the numbers, but yeah, probably.
So you think it's his putting?
Yeah.
But Anita thinks that it's because he's getting married.
All my marriages have worked out well, so I don't know.
I'm sure the marriage will work out. Listen, and I'm gonna go to Rom as well. This is my point, Scott. Guys on tour that get engaged, that get married, and have babies, fade them. You fade them. I mean, look at Rom. Look what happened with Rom this week as well.
He disappointed.
Dude had a complete meltdown.
In the old days, the I don't know if you can say this on the air though, but
be careful. Be very careful. Be very, very careful.
The wife would take the kids, take care of them, and travel with them. And nowadays, you got the same thing, but it's a totally different. Being on the road with 4 or 5 kids, and even if you're flying private and all that, it's a totally different thing. Like, when are you coming home? I've been stuck in a hotel room with these 4 kids all day, and then you need to go practice. So it's a different. Yeah.
Not for me. No.
I'd take it.
Nope, not for me. As she sips her frozen margarita.
Right through her nose. Yep.
Did you just spill that? Did you spill some of that? Is it a party foul?
I would never waste a margarita.
Let's look at the FedEx Cup standings after the PGA Championship. Not a lot of movement here. DeChambeau still at 1 at 1677. JT right behind him. Hovland, Schauffele, Sam Burns. A few switches here. Stuart Sink goes up 1. By the way, I love that his son's on his bag. I love it. I love watching. I know. Whether it's your girlfriend, your fiance, or your son, I love it. Stuart Sink moves up 1. Cam Smith moves down. Cantlay moves up 1. Jordan Spieth moves down. Decky still rounds out 10, of course, after his Masters win. Before we move on, I want to talk about the U.S. Open odds. Guys, your thoughts on Spieth? I thought it was, listen, a lot of people thought Spieth was going to win this week. I think the pressure of having to complete that Grand Slam, especially at this tournament. I know he's trying to become one of 6, right? Or become the 6th to complete the Grand Slam. But I came across can you go back, take these down, Brett? I came across an interesting stat that out of the other 5, Spieth is the only one who's trying to accomplish the Grand Slam, finishing up with this tournament. And that might be really difficult, combining how difficult this tournament is with the mental aspect of coming into a tournament knowing that this is something that you can achieve. John and Scott, I'd like for you to comment on that. Your
US
volume
with 6 runners up at the US Open. So I guess that hole gets a little smaller when it's the last one for a Grand Slam. So I don't know necessarily think it's the tournament itself, but just the fact that it's the final piece of the puzzle, and it's just that much harder to finish it off, which makes the career Grand Slam that much more special.
Right.
Maybe he can learn a little from Phil and maybe try to stay in the moment and not think anything. I mean, there's a lot to say about what Phil went through. So, I mean, I think Jordan's going to do it. He's going to do it. I know based on everything we know about Jordan's playing, he's going to get that.
He's got time.
I agree with you. He's got time. He's got talent. And I just think he needs to work on his mental capacity. I mean, you see him bitch and complain about some great shots he makes all the time. So I just think he needs to maybe step out of his way a little bit and get back into those moments during those times and not think about where he is and what he's about to do. And maybe he can get over that finish line and get that win. So I think he's a good shot. He's got a good shot for the U.S. Open if he could do those two things.
All right, Brett, I apologize. If you can bring up those U.S. Open odds, that would be great. Looking ahead to the next championship that takes place in June, which by the way, guys, I'm going to be down in Florida on vacation, so you guys are going to have to. Maybe Scott can come in and fill in and do the show.
Where are you going? Where are you going for vacation?
My family's from Florida, so
whereabouts?
All over. So
nice.
I'm gonna be I'm gonna be all the way down in Key Largo, and I'm gonna be all the way up in Jacksonville. I'm gonna be all over.
Wow.
Maybe I'll stop off in Boca Raton and golf with you, Scott.
Yeah, definitely. But I'll be in Nantucket.
But he'll be in Nantucket.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Well, here are U.S. Open Championship odds a few weeks away. Brooks Koepka favored 10-1.
Interesting.
Rahm, hopefully he doesn't have a meltdown again, 10-1. Bryson DeChambeau, 12-1. But I want to look at there's two guys that I love heading into this tournament with even better odds, and that's Willie Zalatoris. Do we have him on a separate screen or no? Willie Z is 33-1, and Phil is 50-1. And I think that's really the bigger story here, and that is, U.S. Open, San Diego. His hunting grounds,
his backyard,
yeah. at 50-1. I mean, not as good of odds as 200-1 as it was coming into this past tournament, but 50-1. Are you guys? Let's go around the table here. Christina, let's start with you. 50-1. You gonna put money on Phil to win the U.S. Open in his own backyard?
No, that's it. No, I mean, I would love to see it. My God, I mean, I would love to see that, but no. I mean, I think we saw Phil for a little while. I'm not 100% sure. I don't think he's even convinced that he could actually win another major event. I think he said that in a press conference. Like, I'm not sure this might be the last time.
I know, but I think he feels pretty. I think he apparently a few weeks ago he said, I'm going to win again. I know just recently after this, he said this very well could be the last tournament, the last major, the last tournament I win. But listen, at 50-1, his own backyard,
$2.
I'll throw some
I'll put $2 on it.
I'll throw some coin on that. Why not? What do you guys say, John and Scott? What do you say about?
No, man,
I would load up on Phil at 50-1. He's hot. He knows the course, and those other. Look what he just did at the PGA. That's like what just happened last week.
He needs a nap, though. Doesn't he need a nap now?
Well, he was getting on the plane.
You need a nap after that frozen margarita.
How many of those have you had?
Need a nap.
Not enough to get through this show.
He was getting on the plane the other night and flying home so he could play a practice round after winning. No celebration. That's Tiger. That's what Tiger did.
He was like tweeting, drinking wine,
get ready for the next tournament. Celebration's over. Let's go next week. So that was kind of interesting. When he said that, I was kind of like, whoa.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was feeling. He got the adrenaline.
I think confidence is at a super high level. Knows the golf course like the back. Did you
see his arm in that shirt? Now this is a reenactment, but it's not as. But when he went, is that too bright? That tricep thing was sticking out.
Dude, look how white your arms are. So white.
But he had that tight shirt on like that, and I couldn't take my eyes off that tricep. Like, dude, that's like he's jacked.
What's wrong with you?
Alrighty. Yeah,
why'd you make me drink that stuff? I don't feel good. I'm dizzy.
This is not a good endorsement for that coffee.
I didn't read the small print on this thing here.
We took 3 tablespoons. It's supposed to be a scoop.
We're supposed to do 1 tablespoon. Oh my God.
All right, let's look ahead of the Charles Schwab Challenge. Jordan Spieth is favored. He's from Texas, so why not? 10-1. JT 12-1, Colin 14-1, which by the way, that's who I'm picking. I'm picking Colin Morikawa to win. I'll tell you all the reasons why in just a second. I do like Answer as well at 20-1. Some other guys, Willie Zalatoris 25-1. I love Corey Connors 25-1, just to name a few. Okay, so here is who I'm rolling with, and then let's go around the table, and I'm curious what you guys think about some of the guys that I like, yay or nay, and maybe there's some other guys that you want to throw into the mix. Again, I love Morikawa. I'm playing him to win at 14-1. He looked great this week, finished tied for 8th. His game checks all the boxes in regard to what you need to win here. I know his putting is nothing spectacular, but he does specialize when it's on bent grass. And that is the putting green that he's going to be putting on for these 4 days. I like Jordan Spieth to finish in the top 5 at plus 250, as well as Answer to finish in the top 5 at 4-1. It's probably my favorite bet. Answer coming in. He shot a 65 in the final round on Sunday, so he's coming in hot. He tied for 14th here last year, and his metrics second in driving accuracy. I read that there are 14 dog legs on this track, and so obviously driving accuracy is going to be really important for that second shot, especially on those dog legs. He's also 4th in par 4 efficiency from 400 to 450 yards out. Top 10s, I love Corey Connors. I also like him to finish as the top Canadian, and you can get that at minus 162. I know that's a lot of juice, but I do believe that he'll be the best Canadian finishing on Sunday. Willie Zalatoris at the top 20. Guys, there's no more plus money at Willie Z in the top 20. It's gone. But it's not too bad. It's minus 110. Neiman to finish in the top 20. Also some guys to finish in the top 30. I like Hoffman and I like Palmer. Palmer and his caddy are both members on this golf course. That's a big reason why I like Palmer. To finish in the top 40, Chris Kirk, Kuchar, Higgs, and this is an interesting bet. I love this one. The top European, Justin Rose. You can get him at plus 320. Justin Rose to finish as the top European at plus 320. So those are all my plays heading into this week. John, let's go to you and Scott. Who do you guys like coming in?
I'm with you, Anita. I like Abraham Answer coming into this event. And as you know, we've been on the Willie Z train for most of the year, making me a lot of money, Mrs. Zalatoris. So I appreciate that. But rounded out my DFS team was Billy Horschel. I also like Kuchar. I think he's figured out the driver, which is huge for him. Obviously, a little better setup for Matt, other than Kiowa, for someone who really doesn't hit that far. So I think it'll be a good way for him to get back on track. And who else did I like? So I kind of took Answer and Zalatoris to kick off my team. So I really didn't have much money to spend around the bottom. So I had Whaley as kind of finishing out. He's only a couple $100 from the bottom of the barrel, but he's made 9 consecutive cuts, which is the 4th longest on tour. So I had a little extra money in the bank, so I brought him onto the DFS team. So we'll see how that works out. But I love Answer. I like Kuchar, and I like Zalatoris also.
Scott, who do you have winning?
Who you picked?
Morikawa?
Yep.
Why? Why do you like him?
Just the way he hits the setup, he's still playing well. That's a good spot for him. It's out of the limelight. I just like his entire deal.
Yeah, the only thing I'm worried about is his putting. But like I said, you look at his metrics on bent grass. Can you guys explain before we go to Christina, because Christina's been crushing it. She's been picking winners left and right all season long. Yes, she has. Can you guys explain what's the difference in regard to feel, speed, what have you on bent grass? Why are some guys like Neiman, some guys like Morikawa, why do they do better on bent grass than Bermuda or the other?
That's a great question. It's a huge question. Bent grass does not have grain in it per se. So Bermuda grass, even the modern Bermuda grasses on tour, there's still some grain. So when the water runs off a green, the grass will go the way the water runs. And all the modern golf courses have huge drains. So if you stand on a green and say, oh, the drain's over there, the water, when I teach people, I said the water's going to go that way. So downhill, it's going to be faster, and uphill, it's going to be not. So if you're not used to putting that in your computer, you walk up, oh, this is an uphill putt. And I say, when people come from the north up here where you guys live down in Florida, I said, what else? They go, what? It's uphill into the grain. So it's a totally different thing. It's not a pure. That's the reason Florida is a great place for pros from California. Tiger moved to Florida besides taxes, but he wanted to play. Jack Nicklaus told him, you need to come to Florida and learn how to play on Bermuda grass.
Interesting. Christina, again, you've been crushing it all season long. Who are you picking to win this week?
I like these little fun facts, but so I'm all about the fun fact. So So anyway, this week I'm going with Corey Connors. I know, I'm having fun with the margaritas. Anyway, I'm going with Corey Connors. Hey, listen, you want?
I love Corey Connors. I love it this week as well.
Yeah, I mean, he held a share of the first round lead last week. Although he finished 17th. I mean, he. Are you interrupting me?
Sorry.
During my segment? No, okay. So no, I do. I like him for that reason. I mean, I was looking at him, and I kept saying, why didn't I pick him to win the PGA? I just think he's got it. I mean, he sits 21st on the FedEx Cup. He's got 7 top 10s this finish. I mean, he's one of the most accurate players on tour. So I think he's primed to win. And I think this would be a great tournament for him to play and win. I think Spieth and Zalatoris top 5. I mean, I was tossing around Zalatoris this whole time. I'm going, no, I kind of go against picking like the local guys. I've done it all season. I don't like to pick like the local Dallas, Texas guys, but I think Spieth and Will, I think, obviously they're primed. They're gonna listen. Will, he's had 3 top 10s in 3 career majors. I mean, he is going to win, and why not in Texas, right? And I'm going long here and on Finau with a top 10 finish in Texas.
Ooh.
What do you think?
Sassy girl.
Throwing that out there. Why not? Listen, at this point, after last week, I feel like Jon Snow from like Game of Thrones. I know nothing because I feel like I know nothing about golf anymore.
Oh my God.
And it's anyone's game. Anyone's game. A new winner. I like to see a new winner.
All right, some other topics. And again, if you missed any portion of the show, like Christina downing the frozen margarita, feel free. It's gone. Once the show is over, it will be posted on all our social media sites, and you can watch it in its entirety as well. Some other storylines, guys, that I want to hit on, and. Stricker is going to have a difficult decision. This is a really big storyline after what has happened with Phil and him winning the PGA Championship. There is talk that Stricker will pick him to be a part of the Ryder Cup team. So I just want to share with you, if that's the case, there is a chance that if he handpicks Phil Mickelson, here are a list of the golfers that he will be selecting Mickelson. He will be selecting Phil Mickelson over Tony Finau, Berger, Cantlay, Horschel, your guy Horschel, Christina, Homa, Harris English, Zalatoris, Sam Burns, and Scotty Scheffler. So I want to throw that out there, and let's start. John, let's start with you and Scott. If you're Stricker, what do you feel that what you saw from Phil Mickelson this week trumps all of those guys that I just mentioned to you for him to be selected to the Ryder Cup team?
I would say all of them except for one. I think you got to give a spot to Zalatoris on this team just because of the year he's having. I would love to see Phil on that team. I think he's got the pedigree in that event. President's Cup hero. Loves match play, gunslinger. Having just played in Whistling Straits, it's going to be really difficult. He's got experience there. It's long. I think he's a perfect guy to have on the team as a veteran also as well. I think he's a calming presence. I think he can bring a lot to the team.
Yeah, and he's played in 12 consecutive Ryder Cups. Is that correct? Is that a stat that I just made up in my head, or is that like a fact? Because I feel like that
sounds good.
Like I read it somewhere.
I don't know. How old?
You said you love the fun facts today. You love the fun facts. You're all about fun facts.
Fun fact: Christina gets wasted on one frozen margarita.
Fun fact. Scott, Christina, we're going to get to you in just a second. Scott, do you, if you were the captain, would you select Phil over all those golfers I just mentioned?
It wouldn't even be a. I'd select Phil and then call Phil and say, who do you think we should get besides you?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh,
and I'm picking him.
Second that.
And I'm picking him to win the U.S. Open. And is he playing? I forget. You said he's playing this week?
He's playing this week, yeah.
I'm picking him to win this week too.
Dang! That's like the trifecta.
What were the odds? I didn't hear the odds on Phil to win this week.
50 to 1. Wow. How much coffee you guys drinking over there?
Too much coffee.
You're drinking
what's in that.
coffee. Christina's drinking.
We were supposed to have a little scooper,
Right.
and we turned it too much. So
we put way too much in.
why do you think they call it drugs?
It's so damn good.
Christina, would you select if you were the captain? Would you select Phil over all those players, all those golfers?
Absolutely. And I mean, watching Ryder Cups, watching Solheim Cup events, I think there's something to be said to having some vets in there, players that have been there. And especially with Phil's newfound mindset, I think he might be able to settle down some of the newer players that maybe this is their first Ryder Cup. So if Zalatoris gets into it, he might need a little like calming, because I'm sure the energy, if you've ever been to a Ryder Cup or if you've been to the President's, the energy is so high that their adrenalines go just through the roof. So it would be great to have someone in there to kind of help calm everybody down. And for that alone, I would love to have Phil. But Phil's a rock star at these Ryder Cups. It's not a Ryder Cup without Phil. He has to be there.
Wow. Okay. And last but not least, and again, if you've got any questions for the show, any questions or comments, please post them on our message board. Brett, who's producing the show from behind the glass, will appear and he will present them to us, and we will answer as many as we can before we sign off at 8:00. Christina, before we do get to those questions, why don't you give us an LPGA update?
I would love to. Thank you so much for the opportunity. So Pure Silk Championship was last weekend at Kingsmill at the River Course. Listen, you want me to do the 19th hole drink every week? Sometimes I'm just going to go off the rails. I don't know. I had actually a high moon earlier just before that. So it's one of those nights. Anyway, the course is playing firm and fast, but a closing round of 68 gave Taiwan's Wei-Ling Su her first LPGA victory at 13 under par, 271. It was her 147th start before she got her first win. Her win gave Taiwan their very first victory since five-time major champ Yanni Sangwon back in 2012. Moria Jutanagarn, she finished solo second at 273, and Jessica Korda in solo third place at 10 under 274. Now, Paula Creamer, I mentioned last week that she was going to be in the field for the first time back in a while. She missed the cut. She shot 8 over, but it was great to see her back out there. I'm sure she's gearing up for the U.S. Open, which she received an exemption from. So she'll be playing in 2 weeks out in San Francisco. This week, the ladies are in Vegas for the Bank of Hope LPGA match. What was that?
Remember to check your fantasy lineup.
Oh, dear Lord. Anyway, the ladies are in Vegas. This is the first year for this event. It starts tomorrow. So it's a match play event. They've got 64 players. They're divided into 16 groups of 4, 3 days of round robin matches, with the final 16 players advancing into the weekend. And then from there, the tournament proceeds into single elimination matches to determine the 2 players who will face off in Sunday. So it should be a lot of golf for the ladies. I have my final 4 groups, and I'm just going to tell you right now who I think are the final 4 groups. I'm not going to go into the details, but I think it's going to be group 5, group 7, group 9, and 13. All have Solheim Cup players in those groups. You got Stacey Lewis, great Solheim player, Mel Reed, Danielle Kang, Christina Kim. I got the wins. I got the picks for the LPGA this week. So lots of great tournaments to watch. And then fun news, exciting news for the LPGA. They elected a new commish. I don't know if you guys heard. So as you know, Michael Wan stepped down this year in 2021, and the board of directors just unanimously elected Molly. I'm not going to say her name right, but it's like Mark. I'm not going to try, but I'm going with Molly.
Molly.
Saman. Stop. I don't know how to say all these names. I'm good at some, but this one, I don't want to screw it up because she's really important.
There
but
goes
anyway.
the LPGA sponsorship money we were hoping for. Right out the window.
Anywho, she brings more than 25 years of leadership, and we're excited to have her. I'm trying, people. I'm trying over here. Trying. Don't let me screw up this next little tidbit. I got thumbs up, Anita. I'm good. We're good.
What's your next tidbit before we
tidbit? The last thing we go is that I want to congratulate Rachel Heck from Stanford. She becomes the 9th freshman to win the D1 You know what? You all just move on. The 9th freshman to win the D1 Women's Golf Individual National Championship that was played over at Greyhawk Club in Scottsdale, Arizona. She shot a final round 74, finishing at 8 under, only the 3rd player in history to sweep the postseason by winning conference, regionals, and nationals. But this was the really cool part of the story that I loved, other than the fact that she won. But every player in the field represented a fallen U.S. serviceman or service woman. So Rachel represented a woman. Her name was Victoria Pinkney, a 27-year-old. She was an Air Force captain, a wife, a mom. She died 8 years ago during Operation Enduring Freedom. And so Rachel was the only person who actually wrote her name on her scorecard. So on Monday, when she's in the height, you guys, when you know what competition is, you're in the height of this competition. These young girls are fighting out there for, these great titles. She actually wrote her name on the scorecard because she went back to that every time that she started feeling a little overwhelmed and looked at that card and remembered why she was playing. And it kind of helped her. It helped give her some focus, perspective. Sometimes we need that. And we saw that with Phil. Sometimes you need that focus and perspective while you're playing to keep you in the moment, to keep you focused on what you're trying to do, not get caught up in what you're about to do. And I just thought it was really cool. And Rachel enrolled recently into the Air Force. So she's hoping to serve her country while playing the LPGA. And now I'm done. There you go. I just think that's a great story.
Way to go, Boo. Way to go. All right.
I got through it.
I just want to make a quick note. BetMGM will now offer LPGA Tour odds in addition to those already available for the PGA Tour, European Tour, and other select events. So way to go, BetMGM, teaming up with the LPGA Tour. And
love it.
Christina will help us win a lot of money because she's always picking those winners. All right, without further ado, let's bring in Brett. He produces the show on the opposite side of the glass, and he comes in with our show questions and comments. Brett, how you doing?
I'm good. Christina, how are you doing? A point of emphasis from one of our viewers on YouTube on the Pro Golf Network channel would like you to make sure you have another margarita.
I'll be right back. Would you like me to go? Okay. I will go get another one.
What's fascinating as I sit back here and I watch and listen is what I noticed is that as the show went on, we're here. The rails are way the fuck over there.
Way off the rails.
Way off the rails. But I love it. It's what makes this show fascinating. So first question up. We are going to have two good questions today. One is from Chris over on YouTube. And is Bryson versus Brooks the new Tiger versus Phil? It's about the ratings, people.
I like it.
Yeah. I was actually going to mention that earlier. That's how I felt it was. That's where I felt like golf needs a villain. Like, I love this. We do.
I don't think Tiger hated Phil as much as Brooks hates Bryson.
No. Well,
Brooks can't even look at Bryson. Brooks had to close his eyes and physically not look at him.
He rolled behind his head.
An asshole with the metal fucking cleats walking by again.
I loved it. I'm going to watch it like 10 times before I go to bed.
So, all right. So, 2 questions here. Number 1, how soon do we see the PGA Tour tee them up together?
This week, next week, the U.S. Open. That'd be awesome.
Well, Bryson isn't playing.
Oh, he's not playing it.
So,
yeah.
Speaking of which, Anita.
Wait, I'm not done with my second question, and that is who do you think the public is going to get behind? Who do you think the public is going to hate more than one or the do you think fans are going to get behind Bryson? Do you think fans are going to get behind Brooks? Like, who do you think is going to win the fan base out of these two?
That's an impossible. That's like,
which is the least of an asshole?
I mean, it's an impossible.
You want to get punch in the face or punch in the gut? All right, I'll get punched in the face.
I think you got to like be more Bryson than
Bryson's. he's the alpha of those two, and the other alpha doesn't like it that there's a new alpha.
Well, Bryson is in everyone's head. That's a thing. Like Koepka is. I mean, Bryson is in Rory's head. We've had that conversation. Now he's in.
He's in Brooks's head. He's in his kitchen right now.
Yeah.
You know,
he's like making a sandwich.
Brooks is in the gym
While
lifting.
I cut this sandwich, he's just making a chicken salad sandwich in Brooks Koepka's kitchen.
He's
right
doing
now.
what?
He's making a sandwich. He lives in there.
What kind
Checking
of
his email.
Watch your hand. Watch your fingers.
Hold
Wait,
this.
what kind of sandwich? What kind of
Chicken salad sandwich. What kind of
chicken
random-
salad sandwich?
Listen. Yeah, I know you're from like we got this thing called Wawa here.
Give me some more of that. Give me some more of that
Chicken
mix.
salad sandwich is like to die for. You
Oh,
should-
at Wawa.
it's fantastic.
Yeah. All right,
Well,
Brett.
now everyone likes chicken salad, huh?
Brett, what's your question?
No. You had mentioned how soon would the league, the PGA put the two of them together. Another question posed was, would a Brooks Bryson Ryder Cup pairing be a good idea, or would it end like Tiger Phil in 04?
Do not do that to us. Do not do that to us.
When you say
Do
us,
not.
do you mean America or do you mean
America.
the viewers?
Or the people, or just
Both.
the people on the show? Us,
The five of us. The five, because I could not handle that conversation.
The five of us cannot handle that. Please.
Okay.
Don't do that.
The final question of the night actually is about Bryson's metal spikes. Is metal spikes a common thing on the golf course in today's day, or is it something that is frowned upon? And is that a good enough reason for Brooks to have been upset at Bryson's passing by?
Do you get them at Alpine? Do you have a lot of players?
No, it's in my contract that if I hear the clacking of metal spikes on the concrete, I'm allowed to tackle them.
Tiger
awesome.
and Phil were the last people, I don't know how many years ago, but they wore metal. Metal is really good for long hitters because it gets him settled. As much torque as he has, it gets you set and you're not twisting. It doesn't matter what spikeless shoes. Metal is the best for that. It just tears up golf courses. But when you walk up on somebody like that, it's disrespectful. And he knew the noise it was making.
Especially with the shells on the path behind. It's like
I mean, we all know that
crunchy.
sound, like on the concrete.
Clank, clank.
So as golf pros, you're not like is it an etiquette thing? Because you guys, like Scott, you don't know, but the rest of you guys know. I'm new to the golf world. Is metal spikes on the golf course like an unwritten rule of like stepping on someone's putting line?
No,
They're
it's
not
just-
allowed at Alpine. If
They're
you
not
show
allowed
up,
at Alpine.
we change them off your shoes.
Really?
But the PGA Tour still does allow
This
them.
PGA Tour can still wear them, but the courses that they're playing, the members couldn't wear them.
Interesting. Well, guys, that's going to do it for me. I am taking off next week because baby boy is coming on Thursday.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Right on.
Thank you. But you guys will be here. Make sure everyone who's watching tunes in next Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I'll see you guys in 2 weeks.
You got it, Brett. Thank you so much. Appreciate you as always. Scott, thank you so much for spending an hour with us tonight. It was a pleasure.
Fantastic. It was so much fun. Thank you.
I know. It was really a pleasure having you on the show. Christina, how you doing, sweetie? You all right?
I'm good. Thanks for checking in.
Yeah. You're gonna have another margarita tonight before
I
bed?
am. Well, I made a lot. The recipe that I had was for a pitcher, so I gotta go finish it. I've got no one to drink with. Can't waste it.
All right. Again, if you miss any portion of the show, you can watch it in its entirety on all of our social media platforms. Everybody, enjoy the rest of your week. Hopefully, we've given you some winners for the Byron Nelson, and I love it. We'll go out with this. Have a great week, everybody.